Welcome to Edinburgh. Today we're in St Andrew Square, just across from the tram stop. Now at the moment, the Edinburgh trams run all the way from Edinburgh Airport and terminate here in St Andrew Square. But in a few weeks' time, they're going to be launching the long-awaited tram extension all the way down to the shore at Newhaven Harbour. So what we're going to do today is walk the new tram route all the way from here in St Andrew Square down to Newhaven Harbour. On the way, we'll see lots of restaurants, bars, and places of interest, and I hope that it'll give you some ideas for what you can do when you come to Edinburgh to visit this summer in 2023. So let's hit that tram route. This is the route of the tram extension and where we're going to be walking today. So as we head away from St Andrew Square, the first thing you might want to check out just down the road is the National Portrait Gallery. What a magnificent red stone building it is. So that's our ultimate destination, right over there, down at the bottom of the hill. You can just about see the Firth of Forth, and that's where Newhaven Harbour is, and that's where the tram extension goes. It's about 2.9 miles, so I think we better get on. Well, we're just coming up on the first of the new tram stops at Piccadilly Place, and just thought I'd point out the Conan Doyle. That's a really good pub, great atmosphere inside and great food, and of course, great beer. I'm actually quite surprised. This first new tram stop here doesn't look as if it's anywhere near complete. Now, I was watching the news the other night and they had a news report that the trams were starting to test on the extension. So I thought if I came in today and did this video, everything would be almost ready to go. But there's still a lot of work to do here. The Piccadilly Place tram stop will be good for Edinburgh Playhouse, and we've got the Omni Centre just over here, and then up there, the St James Quarter with its famous Poo Emoji Hotel on the top. After Piccadilly Place, of course, the tram line starts to head down Leith Walk. Now, this is a very long Edinburgh street. And we should really address the elephant in the room to a certain extent. The tram development hasn't actually been that popular with a lot of Edinburgh residents. Not because trams aren't a good idea, environmentally they're fantastic. It's just that this development has been going on for over a decade. The first line was delivered in 2014 and that was over 3 years late. And this second line has taken them about 5 years to build. Admittedly, this one seems to be delivering on time. But the poor people of Leith Walk, the businesses and the residents have suffered over a decade of roadworks and disruption. But hopefully once the extension opens and everything gets back to normal, those residents and those businesses can get a little bit of peace again. And we should support the businesses on Leith Walk that have suffered so much during the last 10 years of tram workings. Yeah, it's lovely to see the road relatively clear. Now obviously there's still work going on over there as well. But we're close, we are so close. There are some grand old buildings here on Leith Walk, and sometimes the best gems, the hidden gems, are actually downstairs. There's another bookshop, McNaughton's Bookshop and Gallery. And of course, now that the roadworks are almost complete, for the first time in over a decade, we can see the scale of Leith Walk. Isn't this a magnificent street, winding its way all the way down towards Newhaven? I think it almost has a Parisian boulevard feel to it. And here's the next of the new stops. This one is MacDonald Road. If you're a regular watcher of the channel, you'll know that my favourite cafe in Edinburgh is Renrock Cafe, and it's just round the corner from here. So if you want to visit Renrock and you want to go on the tram when it opens, this is the stop to come to. I'm not sure whether the camera's going to get this sign because it might be flickering, but it says Trams to Leith, Ocean Terminal and Newhaven coming soon. Now, whilst they have started to test the trams on the extension, I don't think we're going to see any today. They're testing mainly at night, and they're only testing at walking speed, so quite a lot of work yet to be done before the trams are up and running properly. Ah yes, looking back up Leith Walk towards Edinburgh Centre, that's a much better view of the St James Quarter with the Puimoji Hotel on top. Pilrig St Paul's Church of Scotland, beautiful architecture on that church. 1861. And where there's a church, there's always a pub. In fact, on Leith Walk, there's pretty much a pub on every single corner. I see some traces of blue sky down there towards the Firth of Forth. Hopefully the clouds will clear, and by the time we get down to the water, it'll be glorious and sunny. This is a good place to try out. La Casa, tapas and mezze. And here's our next new tram stop. This one is called Balfour Street. Loosely translated, Balfour Street just means halfway down Leith Walk. And if it isn't a pub on the corner, it's likely to be a coffee shop. Artisan coffee. They call it coffee, we call it love. I love this row of shops and offices, collectively known as the Red Sandstone. Absolutely magnificent. Down at the bottom of Leith Walk is a very famous pub. It's a Wetherspoons, the foot of the walk. And just outside the foot of the walk, Wetherspoons pub, we have the next of the new tram stops, the foot of the walk. Oh, it's a glorious play on words, that, isn't it? Now we're going right down into Leith itself. Over the last decade, Leith itself has really developed. There's so many great restaurants and shops and bars down here now. It's almost quite trendy. And that one's for my son Andrew, who's an architect. I bet he'd be able to tell me all about how they designed that one. And if you want good food, good steak, look no further than Chop House. This is one of the best restaurants in Leith. Again, just look at some of these old buildings. Here's the next of our new tram stops. This is called The Shore, and just beyond the tram stop, another great coffee house, the Printworks Coffee House. We're almost down at the shore now, and of course the Firth of Forth. So we've just entered the Port of Leith area, and I can actually see a ship right up there. And there we have our next new tram stop, the Port of Leith itself. There's been so many blocks of flats built here over the last decade. It's a really quite sought-after place to live now. Actually, that's more than just a boat. It's actually a luxury floating hotel called Fingals. I'd be very interested in spending a night on there just to see what it's like. Obviously, it doesn't go anywhere. It's moored forever now. I'm having to take a little detour because the next section of tram track is still closed off. Here I am in the centre of Leith, and if you want a different hotel to stay in, behind me is Malmaison. Have you ever stayed in a Malmaison? They're very dark inside, but I love them. There's something atmospheric about a Malmaison. And there's this absolutely gorgeous memorial just across from Malmaison. Some great places to eat here. Fisher's on the Shore over there, very famous fish restaurant, and moving further up there into Leith itself, lots of great bars and restaurants, some of which are actually converted boats. Let's try and get back on track, or let's try and get back on the tram tracks. This is called the Victoria Swing Bridge, and it's being renovated. And from the Victoria Swing Bridge, that's a beautiful panoramic view of Leith itself. If you are visiting Edinburgh, you definitely don't want to miss Leith. I mean, just look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And in the summer, when the sun's out and the sky's blue, it's a really great place to be. Well, we're back on the tracks. And we're heading to Ocean Terminal. Now, Ocean Terminal doubles up as a shopping centre. It's got a Pure Gym, there's a cinema in there, but also it's the home of the Royal Yacht Britannia. Britannia, of course, was the late Queen's yacht that used to take her all the way around the world on her visits to Commonwealth countries. And it's been moored here in Edinburgh for, goodness, at least 20 years now. Well worth a visit. I mean, inside, it's incredible. So here we are, Ocean Terminal, home of the Royal Yacht Britannia. Unfortunately, there's not really a vantage point which I can get to where I can get a really good view of the ship itself. I'll have a try, so stick with me. And of course, such a big place is going to have its own tram stop, isn't it? So here is the new one, Ocean Terminal. I think that was the penultimate stop. The next one will be the terminus at Newhaven Harbour. Well, it's not a great view, but there is the Royal Yacht Britannia, berthed by the side of Ocean Terminal. And here we are at the terminus. Behind me is the Newhaven tram stop, and it looks like there's still a hell of a lot of work to do here. It just seems to finish somewhat randomly outside a block of flats. I would have expected it to have been much better if they'd have carried on another couple of 100 yards to Newhaven Harbour itself. No doubt eventually they will extend it even more, which is why I'm wondering why they put this great big building in front of the tram tracks, because if they ever do extend the tram tracks, they're going to have to knock that down first. Well, having walked all that way, I think I'm absolutely going to have a look round Newhaven Harbour. You know how I love harbours, and actually Newhaven's got some great restaurants as well. Rishi's here is a fabulous Indian restaurant. Well, if curries aren't your thing, try Loch Fyne Restaurant and Bar. Almost as big a reputation as Fisher's on the Shore that we saw before, but here is Newhaven Harbour. And of course, here at Newhaven, there's actually a lighthouse at the end of one of the piers. I do love a good lighthouse. In addition to Loch Fyne, there's plenty of other places to eat down here. Almost like a fisherman's wharf, isn't it? Oh, isn't it beautiful? Well, we've done it. We've walked the entire length of the new Edinburgh tram extension, all the way from St Andrew Square down here to Newhaven Harbour. And I really enjoyed the walk. Do you know what? I probably enjoyed the walk more than had I actually been on the tram itself. So here's a little tip. If you fancy exploring parts of Edinburgh that most tourists don't go to, find restaurants that most tourists don't know about, find pubs that are a bit off the beaten track, you really could do worse than follow the tram line from St Andrew Square down here to Newhaven Harbour. You're bound to find something excellent to eat, excellent to drink, and some shops to boot. And of course, you've got the Royal Yacht Britannia at Ocean Terminal as well. Thank you so much for coming with me on this little walk today today. Thank you for watching this episode of Rog Vlog. If you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until the next video, remember, there's always something to see, so get out there and find it. The Firth of Forth, the water of the Firth of Forth. It's about 2.9 miles, and somebody's just started up with a pneumatic drill just behind me.